I mean, it's unreal. Like, how does this happen?
On your fast track to 7, a young woman brand new to Fargo now thanking first responders for saving her life on Friday when a gunman opened fire on police officers along 25th Street South. 25-year-old Carly Coswick is now recovering in the hospital and will be for quite some time. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie tells us more about Coswick, what she experienced that day, and how she's doing now.
Carly Coswick had only been living in Fargo for about 3 weeks when this shooting happened. The 25-year-old came here from Boston.
I was looking for some new opportunities, and Fargo seemed like a good place to go.
And it is, which is why Friday's deadly officer-involved shooting is being called one of the darkest days in our community. Coswick found herself in the middle of it.
I was waiting on a tow truck on the phone with my dad on the sidewalk. All of a sudden I heard gunfire, and I wasn't entirely sure what was happening, but I just saw the cops fall down behind me.
Coswick ran for cover behind a tree, but was shot twice in the leg and hip.
I'm incredibly grateful that it didn't turn out worse for me, and I'm grateful that I lived through this.
While Coswick lived through the shooting, Fargo police officer Jake Wallin did not.
The whole conversation that we had on the phone, the biggest thing she was concerned about was supporting these police officers.
Nikki Knight is the owner at United States Axe and Coswick's boss. One of them, Knight says Coswick was working 3 jobs while getting her start here in Fargo.
Being in a car accident is traumatic. So not only was she involved in a car accident, but then to be involved in a shooting and then to also see other people be shot around you, that's traumatic on so many different levels.
Coswick's recovery is expected to take at least 1 year. Above all else, she's thanking the officers who saved her life and potentially many others. In Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
Friday's tragedy has impacted the entire Fargo-Moorhead community, especially our first responders. Firefighters arrived on the scene for what seemed like a routine fender bender. They were about to let Fargo police take over, and that's when Mohammed Barakat opened fire. Police took over, and then they jumped into action as soon as they saw Officer Zach Robinson take out the shooter. And while their job title implies that they handle fires, they say they're more prepared for an active shooter situation than you may think. The department requested ballistics gear after the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School. The funeral for Fargo police officer Jake Wallin is now set for Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. at Pequot Lakes High School in Minnesota. Wallin's obituary says he not only served his country and community, but was also dedicated to and loved dearly by his friends, family, fiance, and his dog. Valley News Live is planning to attend that funeral. Time now for a look at our storm team forecast as we send things over to meteorologist Lisa Green. Hey, Lisa, good morning.
On this morning that some of us are enjoying sun, other places we're seeing some thunderstorms and more storm potential as the day goes on. So here's a look at our severe storm risk for today. We've got a slight risk in yellow there east of the viewing area. So the risk is kind of shifting eastward today. And now it includes the potential for storms that are severe in eastern parts of our viewing area. This is where it's more likely in this deeper green color. That's a marginal or level 1 risk, meaning that some storms may get strong. We have some isolated severe storms, so not widespread, but the possibility is there that some of them could reach that level. Gusts up to 60 miles per hour, hail that will be about 1 inch in diameter if we see some. And it's a low threat, but there is a possibility we could see a tornado or two. So this is right along the Red River and points east where that's more likely for us here in the valley. Now taking a look at your radar right now, there are places getting some rain and thunder. Some spots again enjoying sun, but if you're over in the Beltrami County area, we saw some storms just kind of pop very quickly here this morning over the last hour. Those are marching eastward, but still affecting that area. Baudette area getting some rain and thunder, and still tracking this little thunderstorm that continues to make its way through northeastern North Dakota and transfer over to Minnesota. Right now, it continues to just miss Grand Forks to the north. I can't rule out, though, some of us, especially in the northern part of the metro there, getting some rain. Here's a look at our forecast, or our current conditions today, rather. This is in Devil's Lake. Pretty shot here this morning, and we're at 59 degrees in Devil's Lake. It's 64 in Fargo. We're looking at 60 in Grand Forks. Most of us now in the 60s to start off the morning, and from there we'll go up into the 70s to some of us even getting into the low 80s in the Southern Valley. Wind will be brisk. We're going to see wind speeds into the teens, gusts that get into the 20s to 30 miles per hour. So a breezy day here. And then perhaps a few sprinkles tomorrow, but overall, once we get through the storms that we're going to be dealing with later this afternoon and tonight, we will see our chances start to wind down for the rest of the week. And then here comes the heat starting Monday. We're looking at a stretch of 90-degree temperatures ahead.
Summer coming in hot with a heat wave, really.
Yeah, you know, July's been a little cool, so it's kind of making up for that for this last week coming up.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you for the update this morning, Lisa. A motorcycle driver now being treated for critical injuries after crashing his bike and starting a fire, and it was all caught on store surveillance cameras. It happened Monday night just after 9 in the 3800 block of Main Avenue in Fargo. Police say the driver lost control of a vehicle and crashed. Then both the motorcycle and the driver's clothing caught fire. As that camera zooms in there, you see the flames and that scene. A Cass County Sheriff's deputy was near the scene and eventually put out those flames. There are just a few weeks until students will be returning to the classroom. School districts across North Dakota and Minnesota say they are continuing to see more chronically absent students. The Valley Today's Nishay Taylor joining us live in the newsroom with a breakdown on how our school districts are being impacted by chronic absenteeism. Good morning, Nishay.
Good morning, Ashlyn. In both North Dakota and Minnesota, a student is considered chronically absent if they miss more than 10% of the enrolled school days. Now, in North Dakota, the percentage of chronically absent students in the state jumped from 11% during the 2019-20 school year to 22% in 2021-22. Now, breaking it down further by the district, during the 2019-20 school year, 5% of students were chronically absent within the West Fargo School District. That number has steadily increased to now 16% during this previous school year. Officials for the North Dakota Department of Public Instruction say they are seeing more younger students missing school.
We're attributing that to those students in kindergarten, first grade, when they entered school. It was during the pandemic, during distance learning, and they didn't have time to adjust to traditional face-to-face instruction in schools.
Yeah, chronic absenteeism consistently spiked for Fargo public schools, with the percentage going from 17% to 20 in 2019 to 20 to now 2021 to 22 with 29%. Now, this previous school year, the district has seen some progression. They have since dropped to 25%. The district says that they have been addressing the issue to kind of minimize the absenteeism within the district. Reporting live in the newsroom, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Yeah, an interesting look at those figures there. Thank you for a live report from the newsroom this morning, Nishay. Well, we're ending our show on this. How'd you like to see this coming at you on your next hike? A California wildlife photographer got a little closer to a mountain lion than he even expected. Whoa. He was checking his motion-activated wildlife cameras when he spotted a mountain lion, checking him out first. The cat sat watching him for a few minutes before heading his way, then came within about 5 feet, they say, as she passed him right there on the trail. Ooh. The Today Show and CBS Mornings just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on with more live up-to-the-minute news and weather coming up right now on the Fargo CW. If you're going to stick around home, you can hang out with me. If you're headed out the door, stay safe. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Valley Today, and just soak in that sunshine. We'll see you next time, everybody.